Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a standing position. Bring your feet about hips width distance apart. Have a little bit of softness in your knees. Option to let your eyes close and just take these first few moments to come into your breath, to come into your body. We're going to be doing a lot of movement through the spine today, really articulating through each vertebrae. So maybe breathe a little bit of space into your spine. Find a little bit of easy movement there. And then blink your eyes open. Reach your arms out to the side. Flex your palms so your fingers reach up towards the ceiling. And then pull your pinkies back behind you so you're nice and open through the chest. And then on your exhale, do the opposite. Bring your palms together. Pull your chin to your chest. Take that again. Open up through the arms. Pull the pinkies back. Lift the chest. And then exhale, bring the palms together, soften through your knees, bring your chin to your chest. We do this a couple more times. Pull the pinkies apart, lift the chest open, lift the chin, and on your exhale, connect the palms, chin to chest. Keep this moving, just finding some nice mobility through your spine, especially your thoracic spine. Now take it one more time. And then when your palms are together, hold right there. And then interlace your fingers and rotate your palms so they're pushing forward. And then rotate yourself over to the right diagonal. And think of pushing your left butt bone over to the left. And then switch. So your hands go over to the left, your right hip goes to the right. Switch one more time. Hands go over to the right. And then hands go over to the left. Bring yourself back to center. Keep your hands as they are as you roll up to stand. Find a little bit of back bend. Try to pull your arms behind you. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling. And then release your arms down. From here, bring your chin to your chest and roll yourself all the way down to the ground. Have a little bit of softness through your knees. Ragdoll pose. We're going to be visiting this ragdoll pose quite a bit. Walk your hands out long in front of you. Think of having a long diagonal spine and soften through your knees. So think of a long flat spine, long flat back, but bend through your knees. Content through your fingertips. Reach as far away from your toes as you can. And then walk your hands back in. Soften your knees. Roll yourself up to stand. Stack one vertebrae at a time as you come up. Shoulders, chin, and gaze are last to arrive. Interlace your fingers at the base of your spine and bring your head back. Lift your chest up. And then release your hands, pull your chin down to your chest and move yourself back to ragdoll. So we're just going to move between these postures. Walk your hands out long in front of you. Find that little flat spine sensation as you bend your knees. And then walk your hands back in. Drop your head and slowly, slowly roll yourself up to stand. Bring your hands behind your head and tip your body back. Lift your gaze, lift your chest. And then release your head. Pull your chin again down to your chest and roll yourself down. Forward fold. Walk your hands out long in front of you. Find a flat spine as you bend through your knees and lengthen. Breathe in. And then exhale, walk your hands back towards your toes. Ragdoll forward fold. Roll yourself up to stand. You can start to move a little more fluidly here, but we're still moving nice and slow. Hands behind the head, elbows in, gaze lifts up. And then release your hands, chin to chest, roll yourself down. Soften through the knees, walk your hands forward. Find that nice long spine as you pull the hips back. And then walk your hands back in towards your feet. Drop your head, slowly roll yourself up to stand. Interlace your hands, lift your elbows, lift your chest. Exhale, release chin to chest, roll yourself all the way down. Walk your arms out in front of you, nice little diagonal, bend the knees. And then release your hands back, forward fold, and start to roll yourself up to stand. Interlace your fingers. We take this again, just finding different directions the spine can bend in. Release, pull your chin down to your chest, forward fold. From here, step your left foot back. So you're coming into a 90-90 lunge. You can flip your back toes under for a little stability. Open your arms to a goalpost position. On your inhale, pull your elbows back, stretch the chest forwards. Exhale, bring your elbows together, round through your middle spine. And keep moving between these two postures so we find a little more fluidity movement, especially into your thoracic spine. That's that middle spine area. The cervical spine is also rounding as well, finding some movement. It's a little bit of a tricky balance here too. You could flip your back toes under if you find that helps. Actively push your right foot down into the ground. Take one more set and meet with your arms up towards the ceiling. Bring your right hand down and tip your left arm up and over, a little side bend. You can bring that right arm behind your sacrum as you tip the left arm up and over. It doesn't have to be huge. Bring both of your hands down to the ground to frame your front foot. Flip your back toes, lengthen your stance a little bit here. Push the hips forward, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Think of a little bit of an arch, a lift to the upper spine. And then exhale, push into your front foot and send your hips back. Think of a rounding through your spine. We're gonna take this 4 times total. So even though we are finding a nice stretch into the legs and the lower body, I also want you to think of the movement that you can find and articulate in your spine. As you inhale, arch through the spine, lift the chest and the chin. And as you exhale, send the hips back, round and contract. And take this a few more times. Lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, round and contract. And then meet back in a low lunge position. Flip your back toes, come into 3-legged dog so your right leg comes up into the air, and then bend your right knee and open your hip. Just allow some opening into the front body here. Take a little bit of movement if that feels nice. Push into your palms. Bring your right foot down to the ground. Downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Roll yourself forward to high plank. And lower all the way down to your belly. You can use your knees to assist as you come down. Open your arms wide to the side and tent up onto your finger pads. Your elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling. Now push into the pads of your fingers and lift your chest and your torso. And then on your exhale, roll yourself down to the ground. So start to find these kind of undulating movements. You push into the finger pads as you lift your chest and your heart. And then exhale to release yourself down. And just continue to move this at your own pace. Going up and going down. Maybe finding an increase in range of motion. And let your head and neck be a little involved as well. Take it once more. Bring your hands under the shoulders. Push yourself back to a child's pose. Take about 3 big breaths in your child's pose. Every inhale, feel the expansion of space between your shoulder blades. Every exhale, allow yourself to sink a little heavier into the posture, into the child's pose. Roll yourself up to a tabletop all fours position. We start to move through cat and cow. Drop your belly, lift your gaze for your cow spine. Exhale, cat spine, push into the ground, dome through the upper back, and continue to move between these two postures. Finding a little more movement into the spine. If there's something else that you'd like to add in here, feel free to take that as well. Just make sure that you are moving with breath, that you're never holding your breath. And then take just a couple more sets and meet back in a neutral tabletop position. We're going to take everything on the other side. Flip your toes under, come to downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward, forward fold rag doll. We're going to take our roll ups just a few more times. Soften through your knees and roll yourself up to stand. Make sure that the head is dropped until the very last minute, so you're truly rolling up through the spine. Hands behind the nape of the neck, lift your elbows, lift your chin and your chest, and then release chin to chest, roll yourself back down. Bring your arms out in front of you, soften to the knees, think of a little halfway lift. And then walk your hands back in towards your toes and roll yourself up to stand. We take this 2 more times. Maybe it feels a little different. Maybe you feel a little warmer. Hands behind the head, lift the elbows, lift the chest. Chin to chest as you roll down, release the arms. Walk your arms in front of you, little diagonal as you lift and lengthen. Exhale, lower the torso, drop your head, roll yourself up to stand. Last set, hands behind head, lift the elbows in the chest. Exhale, chin to chest, roll yourself down, soften the knees. Walk your hands out in front of you, a little diagonal. Walk your hands back towards your toes. And then from your ragdoll forward fold, step your right foot back and move into a 90-90 lunge. You can keep your back toes flipped under to assist with balance. Bring yourself up into your lunge position and open your arms to a goalpost shape. Pull your elbows back, lift your chest. Exhale, contract your elbows together, chin to chest. Take this 4 times total. And you may find as you're coming into this that you're finding a good amount of stretch, especially when you round through the spine into the front of your right hip flexor. Try to find a little more squeeze in your right glute to even allow more stretch and opening into the right hip flexor. Do a couple more nice big breaths in and out. And then meet back at neutral. Bring your left hand to your sacrum, your right arm stays up to the ceiling, and take a nice side body bend up and over to the left. Keep the left foot plugged down. Reach both of your arms up overhead. Bring your hands down to frame your front left foot. Flip your back toes. Send your right leg further back. Low lunge, push the hips forward. Charge the heart space forward with it. Breathe into the opening of your chest. Breathe in. Exhale. And shift your hips back. And now find the opening of your left hamstring. Breathe in. And exhale. And then start to move between these 2 postures. Push the hips forward, lift the chest. And then exhale, push the hips back, round through the spine. So again, even though we're finding some nice opening into the legs and the lower body, I also want you to think about the movement that you could find into your spine here. Kind of that rolling sensation, a little more fluidity. And take one more set. We meet back in a low lunge position. Flip your back toes under, 3-legged dog, send your left leg up into the air. Bend your left knee, open your hip, and just pause and breathe here for a moment. Actively push your palms into the ground. You can roll around through your ankle or your knee if that feels good. And then place your left foot down to the ground. You're back in a downward facing dog. Lower your knees down to the ground. Meet in a child's pose. Give yourself a few moments of breath in child's pose once again. Feel and sense the length and the expansion that you can create with your breath. Every inhale, that space between your shoulder blades expands. Every exhale, allow your hips to sink heavier to your heels. You're going to be moving into a little bit of a bigger back bend from your child's pose position. So your hands will stay essentially right where they are. Lift your hips, your butt bone off of your heels and start to roll yourself forward into an upward facing scorpion. In this position, your hips will push down, your chest will open up, and then push your hips back to your child's pose. And we're going to move between these 2 postures. So it's a little more of an intense back bend, especially with the bend of your knees. So you find what you need to find for yourself here. Try to create some distance between your shoulder, the top of your shoulder, and your earlobes, especially as you come forward. You don't want to be all nestled down. You want to be long through the neck and activated into the upper body. That means actively pushing your palms into the ground. Keep these motions going, kind of slinking motions going forwards and backwards. And find one more set here, one more round. Let the hips fall, let the chest open, and then push back to child's pose. From your child's pose, bring yourself to lie on your back. However you need to get there, come to lie on your back. And from this position, extend your legs up into the air. We're going to come into a shoulder stand or a plow pose. So 2 options. Lift your hips up off the ground and catch your lower back with your hands. Now you can extend your legs straight up into the air. This is called a shoulder stand. You could stay here But you could bend your knees, extend your legs so they come behind your head, and move into what's called a plow pose. And you could move from one to the other, but this is just a really nice way to stretch out all through your back, through your neck. Keep your gaze straight up at the ceiling. Try not to turn your head one direction or the other. Continue to breathe into your belly. And then wherever you are, use your hands to help you out as you slowly descend. Lower your hips. Stretch your legs so they come long in front of you. Bring your arms down by your side. Take any final wiggles that you need to take here before you come into your meditation posture. Just lying on your back. Allow your eyes to close and allow yourself these final moments of breath and stillness and silence. Thanks for joining us. And that's your flow.